It's Sandra. Welcome to Quirky Books TV. How are you doing? Well, in today's life hacks episode, I'm going to be talking about how you can use this one quirky method to combat burnout. So, if you don't already know what burnout is where you overwork too much, you just do too much stuff, and then all of a sudden you just feel overwhelmed and like you can't really do much. You kind of feel like you're stuck, that you feel like you're stagnating in some ways. You feel like you just can't get on. Your brain kind of shuts down and says no more. I just don't want any more of this. I've had enough. I can't take any more. And basically your brain just needs a rest and you haven't listened to it. And so it's got to the stage where you're like, your brain's having a meltdown. It's just shutting down. It's shutting down its cages. It's shutting down its walls and saying, hey, you, I'm not going to let you go any further with this because you need to rest. I need to rest. The brain needs to rest. So grant me my wish and make sure I get some rest. Now, we may or may not listen to it. I sometimes feel very guilty about giving my brain a rest, as in the sense I feel I should be working all the time, doing stuff, doing something, when actual reality, sometimes the best thing to do is to do nothing. So this is a quirky method I wanted to talk to you about. It doesn't just mean doing nothing. It's actually to watch superhero movies. I know this may sound very, very, very bizarre, right? But I had a foot accident. Well, someone fell on my foot when I was out dancing on Tuesday. I think they were drunk, they fell, and they landed, I thought, underneath my foot, but the damage has been done to the top of my foot. My foot's been really swollen. It's a lot better now, thank goodness. But it was really, really extreme swelling, and I couldn't put my foot to the floor, just my heel, and it was really hard to walk. Well, I couldn't walk, basically, properly. And it's taken a few days to get better, and it's not 100% better now, and we're on Sunday. And before that time happened, I was feeling really overwhelmed. I was feeling like I just wasn't progressing. I wasn't really doing much website work. I wasn't really doing much blog posting. I wasn't really doing much of anything. I was sat there thinking I need to do it, trying to do it, but not getting very far. And the whole day I'd spend about doing 2 hours of work when really I should have been doing a lot more. But that's burnout for you. When you overdo stuff, your brain literally shuts down, and it's your nature's way of knowing that your body's had too much. And if you've never experienced burnout before, it's really hard to describe, but you might have experienced it and not realized it. It's when your brain actually shuts down. You might even think, I've had someone in my old job, and they literally thought that they were having a major breakdown, and it wasn't a breakdown, it was a meltdown, as in a burnout. And this person said they couldn't take any more of their job, actually, and they left. And but I was saying to them, if your brain is such that you can't even come into work anymore, it's repeatedly like that, and it just won't budge. It's just your brain's way of saying, yeah, I've had enough of this. This isn't right for you. I'm going to take control now, and I'm going to stop you doing this. And basically that's where I was at the stage, just under a week ago. I was to the point where my brain just wasn't taking anymore. It was just obsessing over stupid things, and it was so distracted, and it was playing the same records over and over again. And so I found the best way of dealing with this burnout. Obviously, I had the accident with my foot, which kind of stopped me in my tracks. I'm like, you need to rest. And, it's kind of like intuition, fate, God, power, whatever you want to call it, telling me you need a break. No, I didn't foresee the guy falling on my foot. But everything happens for a reason. This is why, because I needed some time out. And since I've had like 3 days off, you would not believe how productive I've been in these last 2 days. And the thing I've been doing is watching superhero movies. Now, I know that might sound a really bizarre thing to help recover from burnout, but it really does help. And this is a quirky channel, if in case you didn't already know. I did quite a lot of different stuff on here. And it's an extension of my Quirky Books blog, which is a writing blog, but all things quirky and different. Like I do self-dating, for example, which is not a very well-known thing to do. And I like to give some sort of quirky advice, quirky tips. And this is my tip. is to, I mean, obviously, if you hate superhero movies, then this is not going to work for you. And I would urge you to watch movies just to chill out to. Now, I, as a rule, don't watch TV. I think it's a waste of time in general. But my brain needs a rest, and actually watching movies, as you know, is escapism. So, watching movies, even if it's not superhero movies, will probably help you because it's good to escape. Obviously, if you're watching movies all the time, then your brain's not going to be escaping from that because it's normal for you. So what I would urge you to do is do something different to what you're already doing. You know, if you're watching TV constantly, you're having a meltdown because you're just burning out. You know, you're doing too much TV watching. Go and take a walk, for example. But this quirky method that's worked for me is watching superhero movies, because when I'm watching superhero movies, I'm kind of absorbing. Not only is my mind escaping, because my mind tends to be on a loop the loop, I do still suffer with some anxiety, and that's kind of what anxiety does to you. It puts your mind in a loop all the time. But also, you know, I feel the power of the superheroes, you know, and the more I watch superheroes, the more I feel I have more strength in myself, because I'm literally bombarding myself with characters who've got extra strong powers and abilities. And this rubs off on me after so many hours of watching this and ingraining it into my brain. Yes, you can do things that are seemingly impossible. Yes, you can do things that would be highly improbable. Yes, you can do this and that. And the energy that I get from these superhero characters as well is amazing. So the other day I watched all 3 Iron Mans. Yeah, I've got them on disc. So I watched the first, the second and the third. So one day I watched the first, second day I watched the third, second day I watched the second, sorry, and third day I watched the third. But I also watched 3 movies on the third day. And last night I watched Wonder Woman as well. Like, I've seen these films before, right? I haven't seen some of them for a while, and others I've seen not long ago. But I really needed the boost. And since then, like today, for example, I've written and actually pre-scheduled 11 blog posts, right? That is a lot, yeah? I mean, I don't always pre-schedule blog posts. Like the one I did this week about my accident wasn't pre-scheduled. It was just done and published. But as I run 3 blogs for all different niches, one for asexuals, one for redundancy, and one for writing, I kind of need to do some scheduling these days. But, you know, if I need to write a blog post in between or change posts around to ones that are more current and relevant, then I will. So, you know, I've scheduled these posts and it's just incredible. You know, 11 posts in like, well, it took me a long time to do those posts. I was working on them from like 1 p.m. this afternoon to like 9:20 this evening. So it's not been like, you know, I take my time over my blog posts. I'm writing, I'm getting videos prepared, photos prepared. So there's a lot of work and effort that goes into it. But in comparison to me doing 2 hours work the other day, where I basically didn't do really very much and just faffed around all the time, was lucky if I wrote 1 to 2 blog posts, 11 blog posts in one day, which are really good posts as well. I mean, some of them aren't that long and others have took me quite a lot of in-depth thought over, you know. But, you know, all of them are very relevant to my blog. A few are more sort of leisure blogs, but the rest of them, a lot of them are writing. And I've got back to the theme of my Quirky Books blog of writing, which I haven't actually been doing as much lately. And I think some of it is because I'm writing again, because I kind of lost my way a bit in the sense that I wasn't writing much. And my soul is completely writing. You know, if I'm not writing, I'm not actually that happy in my soul. My soul needs to write. And by blogging, it's one way that I can write a lot. You know, I can write as little as much as I want, but I can write. And just the practice of writing again, just writing more and more and more is fantastic for me. You know, I love doing live videos. You probably noticed I'm starting to do more live videos on my asexualized channel, which I don't know if you follow me on there as well. I've been live streaming now for pretty much, this is the 3rd month non-stop. You know, I don't do that on this channel all the time. I do that on that channel because, you know, I have a huge following on that channel compared to this channel. Also because I do think, you know, I do a lot of asexual dating and relationship stuff, and I'm constantly going on asexual dating sites and in the asexual dating sphere. And I like to help people in their own asexual journey. So I'm constantly updating people about what's happening in the asexual world, the asexual community, the relationships of dating. So, you know, so to help people in their own life. Whereas with writing, to be honest, I wrote my book. My last book was SSL, a free SSL certificate. So it's called How to Install a Free SSL Certificate on Your WordPress Website. And that is a book I got out this year. It's very, very technical book. It was an ebook, but I do actually love the book. I love the cover. I mean, I absolutely adore the cover. I don't know if a writer can fall in love with a cover, but if they can, I love the cover. It's orange and black. It's bright orange and black. It's on Amazon. How to install a free SSL certificate on your WordPress website for absolute beginners. And I love that book, you know. And I did it because I was installing a free SSL certificate on my WordPress websites, and I was so frustrated that I couldn't find a free SSL certificate to put on my website, you know, and not spend all that money that having multiple websites like I do, you know, it would and domain names, it would cost it would cost hundreds of pounds to install an SSL certificate, and that SSL certificate is valid for 15 years and it's free. So it's really, really good. You know, I've written a book this year, but I want to write more. And I noticed that I've been sort of neglecting my passion of writing a little bit lately because I've been doing a lot of technical stuff with websites now. To be honest, technical stuff with websites is not, you know, enthralling to me and invigorating. So, you know, I've been sort of like doing less things that motivate me and more things that just a bit boring and monotonous to me. So I love writing. I love designing t-shirts. If you didn't know, I design and sell t-shirts. But the designing is I love, but the uploading and writing the description out every single time is not my favourite thing to do. And what I've been doing lately is I've been doing a lot more of the stuff that I find boring and monotonous, but has to be done, and hardly anything of the stuff that's fun and motivating. So by, you know, this weekend, actually, I wrote loads of blog posts yesterday as well. So by writing, you know, by watching superhero movies, it's given me the strength and the power back in myself and my personality, because it's given my mind a break. It's helped rejuvenate and revigorate myself. At the moment, I'm still not 100% better, but I'm getting there, you know. And I've just done so much work over, you know, like social media work over this weekend, which has been fantastic because I haven't been able to do much for a while. So it just feels really empowering. Like yesterday I did, I did 8, 9, 10 blog posts, and I uploaded a t-shirt as well. So I did a lot yesterday. So in 2 days, I've done more sort of social media work than I have like in probably a week or more, you know, and it's just really good. So, you know, yes, it is a quirky method watching superhero movies to combat burnout, but it works for me because once you know, what you put in your mind, basically, what you put in your mind constantly is what you become. So, for example, because I've been putting a lot of monotonous tasks in front of me lately, and I haven't been having much fun and motivational stuff and stuff I really thoroughly love and am passionate about, then that's how come my brain has just decided to switch off. It's like, no, I've had enough of this. This is just too boring for me, because I'm so creative. And I think that is kind of a problem with creative people, or a benefit, if you like, is with creativity, you need to be expanding and elaborating on your creativity. And a lot of the time, creatives can be technical, but, you know, creativity and technicality don't always go together. And it's like, sometimes your creative brain can be just like, oh, I really need to just forget being technical for a moment, just go into escapism. Also, if you're a writer, watching superhero movies and movies in general is a great way to avoid burnout as well of your brain, because if you're writing all the time, sometimes you need some like sort of other ideas, other creative ideas, other inspiration, other stimuli. And watching movies can actually give you the sort of that drama back that you need. Yes, we don't like a lot of drama in life as people, a lot of us. But if you're a writer, you kind of do need drama to write about. You know what I mean? It's kind of like, I write non-fiction, so I don't exactly need the drama as such. But, you know, even when you're writing non-fiction, it's kind of, you know, you might like literally come across something in a movie that you think, oh, I can write about. Like today when I was blogging, you know, like preparing all my blog posts and writing them, I was like thinking of more books that I can write. You know, I was writing down more books I can write. And obviously writing is my hugest passion in my life. So I was like thinking, oh, I need to write that. I haven't written that type of, you know, I haven't written that book yet, you know. I'm a writer, but I haven't written any books about writing, funnily enough, which is quite funny, isn't it? But it isn't, because I need to write it. So I was thinking a book on writing tips, for example, which I haven't ever done. You know, and there's lots of books I want to write. I've got a whole, like, over the last week, even before I decide, even before I got to this stage where I was totally burnt out and, the accident happened with my foot, and then I had to watch, I didn't have to watch movies, but that's what I chose to do, superhero movies. Even before that, I started to write again and started to write ideas for books. And I noticed when I did that, I could just, like, the hours would go quickly, which means that I haven't been doing enough of my passion, of what makes me come alive and feel vibrant and amazing. So I need to get back to doing more of that, because it's really good for my soul. And I would urge you, if you are experiencing burnout right now or a lull, to go back to something that makes you feel really excited, really passionate. And, if you can't think of that because your brain's just shut down, which is what mine did, go and do something where you can escape your normal routine. Like, because I don't usually watch TV, watching movies for me is completely different to my normal routine. Yeah. And it gave me the time and space out of my own head. I might still need to go back to it for a little while, but I've watched quite a lot of movies now, but superhero movies are great for building strength within you, for building motivation, for building inspiration, for building that fight and that lioness and that tiger within you again, and for really, really feeling much more stronger and powerful in yourself. So, yeah, that's my quirky tip for how to combat burnout, is to go and watch superhero movies. Those movies that give you the strength, the power, the determination. Because once you're, particularly from a writer, when you get into sort of characters, like as a writer, you need to be really good at getting into characters' minds and the flow of the story. So when I watch superhero movies, I like get in with the character. It's like I'm feeling their strength, I'm feeling their power, and I'm feeling their energy. It's feeding into me, see? So not every time, like some people say, oh, TV is very bad for you. And I agree, a lot of TV is bad for you. There's a lot of rapes, deaths, murders, and all that lot on there. But I think the right movies, if the occasion calls for it, is really, really positive. This is how you can use some movies, to your advantage, Like superhero movies in general, the superhero movie may be, the superhero of the movie may be flawed. They're not perfect, but in the end, they come good, don't they? They use their strength and their power to help other people. So it's a good message to send to your brain. And they have the courage and charisma and strength to get on in life and to succeed and to fulfill their dreams. And they keep trying sometimes, and they don't always do the right thing. And sometimes they fail in that moment, but they get back up and they fight good. And that's the things you need when you're having burnout. You need to know that, you need to relax, chill out and escape, which a superhero movie allows me to do. But it also starts instilling all these qualities in me. It's kind of like, like with Iron Man, it's kind of like I'm rebooting myself, like through the Iron Man character. It's kind of like he's plugged me in and I'm using his superpowers to reboot myself. This is how my quirky writing and creative brain thinks. And to be quite honest, I'm so happy to get back to this brain. As you can see, I'm much more lively and excitable now. And it's kind of like when Iron Man plugs in, it's kind of like I'm being plugged in. I'm getting my energy back, getting my fight back, getting my strength back, getting my armor back, getting ready to go into battle, It's like I'm feeling good, and I'm trying to tackle one thing at a time. So one thing I do have to say is another tip when you're, recovering from burnout, is when you do go back to doing whatever work or stuff you have to do, try and do one thing at a time and just focus on that one thing and then get it done, I know that you're supposed to write lists, right? But to be honest, lists were causing me problems before the person fell on my foot, before the accident, before when I was burnt out but wasn't really listening to myself. Sorry, I forgot what I was going to say now. But what was I trying to say about burnout? Oh my gosh, now my mind's gone completely blank. See, I'm not fully recovered yet, can you tell? Yeah, I have had a sore throat today as well, which doesn't help. So my foot's in recovery, but my throat has been sore. That's my reason anyway. It might be an excuse, I do apologise. But what I was trying to say is, I think you get the picture anyway, is the, before I even had the sense to address my burnout, there was certain things that I was just doing too much. And that's right, I was talking about lists, right? I got it now. So yeah, I was talking about lists, and basically what you're supposed to do in order to progress in your life and do lots of active work and make a lot of progress is to take action, but you create goals in order to take action on. Then you take all the goals off, and you normally make them timed and everything. Now, sometimes because I am so creative, my brain just shuts down with routine like that. It just can't cope with it. And making lists was actually at that time just putting me off even more, because I kept writing lists, and it's like, well, I'm not getting through everything because I was burnt out and couldn't progress. The list was just there for days, the same list, and it just made me feel awful, So at the moment, I haven't written any lists, right? I've still got the old ones over there. I'm not even looking at them because I know, because I've written them down so much of the stuff that needs to be done. I've clocked it in my head. Yes, you could argue that's not always a good thing to do, because then it's in your head, but it's already ingrained in my head because it's on a list anyway. And if I want to look at the list, it's over there. I know what I've got to do, and it's kind of like I just want to tackle one thing, get it done, out of my brain, tackle one thing, get it done, out of my brain, right? And then that list will just reduce and reduce and reduce till I don't have that much on it anymore. So sometimes what works normally, what you should be doing, is something you just can't do anymore for that point in time in your life, I know that a good thing is to schedule everything in your calendar, in your diary or whatever, and and schedule something for every day in order to be productive. But as you can see, that hasn't worked over the last few weeks. I've been doing minimal amount of stuff, sometimes 2 hours I've spent actually doing any productive work, and I just felt awful. So to be quite honest, I'm glad that I've had 3 days off, chilling out, not doing much, watching superhero movies, feeling better about myself. And then spent the last 2 days, today doing 11 blog posts, yesterday doing 10. So that's 21 blog posts in 2 days, and uploaded a t-shirt. I think that's good going. I'm very proud of myself, But I needed the time out to do that. And I really feel like the strength of the superhero characters helped me, and the fact that I'm doing writing again, because I feel very motivated when I'm writing constantly about something I love. I've been doing a lot of posts about writing. I've gone back to about writing. And of course, when I'm writing about writing, my passion is huge. It's just whoa, writing, love it, writing, love it, love it, love it, love it. And so I really need to get back to nourishing my soul more and doing more writing. I've never done any paid advertising for my books, but I'm going to have to start doing that. It's something I've been meaning to get into. I'm a bit scared about doing it because, it's kind of hard to succeed as a writer in terms of, Facebook ads. There's quite a lot of people that say it's hard to get a good return on it, but there are people that do get a good return on it. So I need to focus on the positivity. I really need more people to see my books, because, the people that do see my books in general, they really love them and think they're well-written books. But if not many people know about them, then, that's narrowed market, isn't it? Having said that, I need to get all this outstanding stuff that I need to do done before I can move on to doing more books, which is kind of a bit that's been getting me down lately, because it's well, I really just want to get on with my books. But doing all these blog posts has helped me because I'm doing writing. I've still got loads of other blog posts to do for my other 2 blogs, so I haven't finished those yet. But I just feel so much happier and better. So I hope this video has been useful, helpful, and insightful to you. If it hasn't anyway, please give it a thumbs up. I know someone's been watching this video, all their live stream, I should say, all the way through. So thanks very much for joining me. I really hope it's helped you. I really do. And if you give this video a thumbs up, it really helps me out, because it means that I can keep producing more videos. I know that you like the videos. I know that they're good to do. This channel, I do mix it up quite a lot. I don't kind of stick to one specific thing all the time. I do sort of roving reporter style stuff. Lately I'm doing life hacks, so I'm trying to give you advice and hints and tips on how to live your best quality life, and that's through learning from my own personal experience. So, that's what I try and do in my videos to help you in your life, and that includes the negative or less positive side of life. That includes when things aren't going quite right, when I've had burnout recently. So, and I'm still in recovery, but a lot better than what I was. And I'm seeing a friend for 2 or 3 days as well. So that's going to be amazing. That's another thing that you should do, that helps with burnout sometimes. But, just getting back to spending time with you and being with your own soul, that's what helps me, being with myself and quality time that I enjoy and feel good about. That's what's important. Anyway, like I said, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already done so. And leave any comments or questions in the comments down below. If you're already subscribed, or if you want to subscribe and you hit the subscribe button, please hit the bell icon so you get notified of every time I post a new video or go live. Sometimes I do poetry on this channel as well, which I do like. And until next time, embrace your quirky and each other's. Thank you for watching. I so appreciate it. And I will see you soon. Thank you. Bye.